My friend, have you ever wondered why some people seem to move through life with ease, building wealth, enjoying freedom, and living on their own terms, while others, despite working hard day after day, remain trapped in the endless cycle of bills, obligations, and routines that feel more like a cage than a life? That cage is what people often call the rat race. It is the system where you wake up to an alarm clock you hate, rush through traffic you despise, work at a job you may not even love, just to pay for things you barely have time to enjoy. And once you pay the bills, the cycle repeats. The rat race steals not only your financial independence, but also your dreams, your time, and your spirit. Yet Napoleon Hill, one of the greatest motivational teachers of all time, left behind timeless wisdom that teaches us how to break free from this trap. His lessons show us that building rich habits is the first step toward escaping the rat race and living a life of freedom, success, and wealth. Napoleon Hill's philosophy is not about luck or shortcuts. It is about principles, discipline, and the science of success. He interviewed some of the most powerful men of his time, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and many others, to discover what separated those who built empires from those who lived paycheck to paycheck. He found that wealth is not only about money, it is about habits, mindset, and the daily practices that compound over time. When you shift your habits, you shift your future. The path out of the rat race is not a sudden leap. It is a gradual transformation that begins in the mind and is expressed through consistent actions. The first rich habit Napoleon Hill emphasized was the power of definiteness of purpose. Without a clear goal, you drift. People in the rat race often feel stuck because they do not have a definite purpose that fuels them. They work to survive, not to thrive. Hill discovered that every wealthy individual he studied had a burning desire, a vision so strong that it pulled them out of bed with excitement, not dread. Imagine the difference between dragging yourself to a job just for a paycheck versus waking up every day knowing your actions are building toward a dream you have chosen. That difference is the seed of freedom. To build rich habits, you must cultivate a purpose so definite that it guides your decisions, strengthens your discipline, and keeps you moving even when the world tells you to settle. But purpose alone is not enough. Habits are the tools that bring that purpose into reality. If you study the lives of people trapped in the rat race, you will notice repeating patterns. They spend without tracking, they consume more than they invest, they entertain themselves more than they educate themselves, and they exchange time for money rather than creating assets that work for them. Napoleon Hill taught that breaking these patterns is essential. Wealthy people build habits that serve their purpose. They budget, they invest, they learn continuously, and they surround themselves with like-minded individuals who uplift rather than drag them down. Escaping the rat race means replacing the habits of survival with the habits of growth. Napoleon Hill spoke often about the power of autosuggestion, the ability to reprogram your mind by repeating positive statements and affirmations until they sink into your subconscious. This is not just empty talk. Your mind is like a fertile garden, and your daily thoughts are the seeds. If you plant seeds of limitation, you will harvest failure. If you plant seeds of abundance, confidence, and determination, you will harvest wealth. The people in the rat race often tell themselves things like, "I can't afford this," or "I'll never get ahead." Wealthy thinkers instead ask, "How can I afford this? How can I make this possible? How can I grow?" That mental shift, practiced daily, is a rich habit that builds momentum over time. Escaping the rat race also requires building financial intelligence. Napoleon Hill understood that money flows to those who manage it wisely. Most people in the rat race are not trapped because they lack income. They are trapped because they lack control. No matter how much they earn, their expenses rise to match it, leaving them running faster but getting nowhere. To break free, you must form the habit of directing your money instead of letting it direct you. Create systems that allow you to save, invest, and build assets. Train your mind to view every dollar as a potential employee that can work for you. When your money begins to earn money, you step closer to freedom. Wealthy individuals do not work harder, they work smarter by letting their resources compound. Another rich habit is self-discipline, what Napoleon Hill called mastery of self. Freedom requires sacrifice, and escaping the rat race is no exception. You cannot spend recklessly, waste time, or indulge every impulse and expect to find wealth. Hill taught that your ability to control your own thoughts, emotions, and actions determines your ability to control your destiny. If you learn to say no to distractions, no to unnecessary spending, and no to habits that waste your time, you create space to say yes to opportunities that build wealth. Discipline is the invisible bridge that carries you from desire to achievement. Without it, dreams remain only dreams. With it, the impossible becomes inevitable. Napoleon Hill also believed deeply in the power of imagination. He once said that imagination is the workshop where all plans are created. Escaping the rat race requires seeing yourself beyond it. If you only imagine yourself as an employee bound by a paycheck, that is where you will stay. But if you visualize yourself as free, wealthy, and independent, your mind begins to look for ways to make it real. The habit of daily visualization, of seeing your future as if it already exists, is a powerful force. The world outside will always match the world you build inside your mind. That is why wealthy people dedicate time to envisioning their success before it manifests. They are living today the life they imagined yesterday. One of the greatest discoveries Napoleon Hill made was the principle of the mastermind. No one escapes the rat race alone. Wealth is rarely built in isolation. Instead, it grows in circles of collaboration, mentorship, and shared vision. People stuck in the rat race often surround themselves with others who reinforce their limitations, who complain about work, who live only for weekends, and who settle for less. Wealthy individuals, on the other hand, create networks of ambitious thinkers who challenge and inspire them. Building the rich habit of forming a mastermind group, people with whom you can share ideas, learn strategies, and gain accountability, is one of the fastest ways to accelerate your growth. Napoleon Hill's lessons also remind us that failure is not the enemy, but the teacher. Those stuck in the rat race fear failure so much that they avoid risk entirely. They stay in jobs they dislike because the thought of uncertainty terrifies them. But the wealthy view failure as feedback, a stepping stone, a necessary part of growth. They build the habit of resilience, bouncing back stronger each time life knocks them down. Escaping the rat race requires embracing calculated risks, learning from setbacks, and using failures as fuel rather than chains. If you can shift your perspective to see every obstacle as an opportunity to grow, you become unstoppable. Let us also not forget the role of persistence. Napoleon Hill called persistence the key that unlocks the door of success. Many people start with enthusiasm, but quit when the journey becomes hard. The rat race offers comfort, predictability, and routine, and the moment you try to escape it, resistance appears. People will doubt you, temptations will distract you, and setbacks will discourage you. But those who persist despite difficulties eventually break free. Building the habit of persistence means deciding in advance that you will not quit until you win. It is the inner decision that no matter how long it takes, you will not return to the cage. Perhaps one of the most overlooked rich habits is gratitude. Napoleon Hill taught that a positive mental attitude is one of the greatest assets a person can possess. Gratitude transforms your energy and attracts opportunities. People in the rat race often focus on what they lack, while wealthy thinkers focus on what they already have and how they can use it to create more. Gratitude opens your eyes to resources you already possess, skills, relationships, time that can be leveraged for growth. By practicing daily gratitude, you build resilience, reduce stress, and keep your mind aligned with abundance rather than scarcity. When you combine these habits, definiteness of purpose, autosuggestion, financial intelligence, discipline, imagination, mastermind alliances, persistence, and gratitude, you form the foundation of a wealthy life. Escaping the rat race is not about quitting your job tomorrow or chasing some get-rich-quick scheme. It is about building a life where your income, your time, and your happiness are no longer controlled by someone else. It is about shifting from survival to creation, from dependence to independence, from limitation to expansion. So imagine for a moment what your life would look like if you applied Napoleon Hill's teachings fully. Imagine waking up without the dread of an alarm clock because you control your schedule. Imagine money flowing in from investments and businesses you built, rather than from a paycheck you chase. Imagine spending your days doing work that excites you, being surrounded by people who inspire you, and having the freedom to travel, explore, and give back. this is not a fantasy. It is the reward of building rich habits. It is the life that awaits when you decide to escape the rat race. And the truth is, the decision is yours. No one else can do it for you. Napoleon Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Your escape begins the moment you believe it is possible and you commit to building the habits that align with that belief. Every day you continue in the rat race is a day you are choosing the cage over freedom. Every day you delay is a day you trade for a paycheck instead of your purpose. But every day you choose to build rich habits is a step closer to wealth, freedom, and the life you were meant to live. So ask yourself, are you ready to escape the rat race? Are you ready to live by design instead of default? Are you ready to follow the timeless wisdom of Napoleon Hill and claim the success that is waiting for you? If the answer is yes, then today is the day to begin. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Your future self is watching, your dreams are waiting, and freedom is closer than you think, if only you choose to build the habits that make it real.